The cats are out and about in their various places sleeping, but I had an idea. Instead of dragging them into the video, I would take the video to them. So, not too sure they were thrilled about it, but there you got some cats. Which probably lets you know that I'm really needing to bulk up the video this week. For some reason the felt pad keeps coming off my sewing machine. So, yeah, I did sew this stretch denim skirt for Kirby, and I am not at all happy with it because it's a little bit too thick. I actually made a skirt for me out of this denim a while ago, and this was just a little bit left over that wasn't enough to squeeze a skirt out of, but because it is stretch denim, when I stretched it, it stretched. And then I sewed this, which, I mean, you can't really see here. I put pictures on Instagram, and so that was my big project, especially the bird appliques, which while I was sewing, just started sewing them. So there's a delivery truck across the road banging stuff around. I don't know how much it's showing up in the audio. So as I was sewing, had a narrow zigzag stitch, really dense, just zigzagging away, and the foot control for my sewing machine went pop. What? And I like just nudged it with my toe a little, and then pop, pop, pop. So if you remember, my foot control, the wire to it wore through about 2-3 months ago. So I was able to get into the foot control and replace the wire then. So I figured maybe this was something to do with the repair not quite being screwed down tight enough. So I got it back open and reseated things, and it was fine. I figured it hadn't been popping. I'm sure the pop was an electrical arc. It hadn't been popping because it was, my normal sewing is not just putting it down and going constantly, but at a slow speed. And the slower speed you go on these old foot controllers, the hotter they get. So stuff probably expanded and moved, but it was fine, and I got the dress finished, and the dress is finished. So then I had, when I was making it, I thought it has these just cut on short extended sleeves, and I thought about adding a proper sleeve to it, but I realized even though it is cold and sleeves are nice now, I really am looking forward to wearing this in the summer. It will be light and breezy, so I don't want sleeves. So I had a decent amount of this cloth left, so I started just thinking about making doll clothes. And well, first thing, since I'm working on a trade with someone who very much likes plaid, I asked if they liked the plaid of the dress and would like it for any of the dolls that I could sew for trade. So they requested this for a Scary Godmother doll floor-length skirt. So that was the first doll thing I sewed from it. Back in the trade box. And then I had the idea of making a jacket. But once I got the jacket sewn and put on her, it's like, I wasn't trying to make it look like grunge, because this isn't flannel, this is like the opposite of flannel, this is seersucker. But she does look kind of grungy, doesn't she? Especially when you remember that she's wearing your stompy old Doc Martens. But there we are. Speaking of accidental 1990s, I got new glasses. I ordered these from gogglesforyou.com. Goggles for you. They had a New Year's sale where frames were like 40% off, and these were cheap frames anyway, and they're like $10 shipped. I do need more glasses. I know I don't, but I couldn't resist these. But my big drawback is I know this is a trendy shape right now, But this is almost the exact same size and shape of glasses that I wore in high school in the early 90s. So while I like the fact that like this has floral print on it, and they didn't have floral print glasses back then, or else I probably would have worn them, it's just this weird thing that it's like, I feel like, no, really, I'm not trying to still look like it's still 1992, but so I'm kind of on the fence about these glasses. They are cute, I'm just not sure if they're for me because they were me in 1992. Anyway, so I also, since there was still more of that cloth left, I showed absolutely no imagination, and I showed this. This looks familiar, yes. So I'm not sure if I will keep this for my dolls or put it up for sale or trade eventually. There's actually still a decent chunk of that cloth left, but I put it aside. It's small enough that I don't feel like storing it is really getting in the way of eliminating stuff. So that was my big project. I mean, it's a really easy dress, but what made it the big project, this dress, was the fact that I did the bird appliques on it, which I did design those myself. I drew them in my illustration program, just simple vector, and printed them out. And it's inspired by the fact that we have bluebirds that live out here. And I'm looking forward to spring and seeing the bluebirds, little bright blue burst of feathers all over the place again. So my next project, actually I've already started. It's another one of these in some mixed prints, including, yes, Star Wars, and I hope to finish that today, and I'm sure I will show it to you next. I'm not sure if I'll wear it next week, because I'm getting into the idea of sewing clothes again for me, but I know you're here to see dolls, and I want to sew doll clothes, but I want to sew me clothes, and I'm going to stop babbling now, and I'll see you next week with whatever it is that I do sew, and thanks for putting up with me.